I have realised that this stream is starting about 15 minutes earlier than I'd meant to. I'd forgotten I said 11:30 instead of 11:15. I thought I was actually running late, but apparently I'm not. So, here we go. We are playing Kaiserreich. This is with the new update, which came out today, just a couple of hours ago. And we're going to be playing as Ireland. This is a nation which I know has had quite a lot of stuff added to the game. Apparently one of the Kaiserreich developers was an avid Ireland fan, so Ireland got a lot of attention because of that. And I've been told it's a really good game, so that is what we're going to try. They are Fine Gaels, which is Authoritarian Democrat, and they have the Defence of the Republic, Division, Defence of Core Territory, and National Unity. After 700 years of British rule, the Irish people have finally secured their independence. However, Britain and Canada still threaten Ireland, and if it comes to war, the Irish people must be prepared to fight using their superior knowledge of the terrain and determination to protect their freedom. Alright, let's jump in and let's have a look at what their focuses and things are like. Hey, Master Matt, how are you? Oh, exciting. So I've just been recording a multiplayer game with Igel, Bussy and Valnoma. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the Civil War game running, so I started doing another one. And the nations that we were playing in that are Russia, Mexico, Austria, and Japan. So we're playing kind of a wildcard game. We didn't want to play with anyone that was actually aligned with one of the major factions, so that's kind of interesting. But this should be a completely different game because we are quite a lot of a smaller nation. Hey Bussy, speaking of the devil. Do Freedom Ireland USA style. We'll see. So we start with the Irish Economic Advancement Act. And then we can choose which of these we want to go down. So the agricultural reform modernises the agricultural industry and infrastructure. That's monthly population increase, supply consumption reduction, factory repair speed, factory output and a bunch of infrastructure. Or we can do industry for Ireland. So we begin industrialising, civilian factory construction speed. And then the International Business Centre in Dublin, which I think allows you to get treaties with other nations to give you bonuses. Oh wait, these are not mutually exclusive. Hold on. Okay, that's cool. These are not mutually exclusive. And that's the research system. Increased immigration, production efficiency, Irish women for even more production. And then increase the taxes. And then, steel in Ulster. Sweet. Electronics, aluminium, and then resource operation. Then finally we can get the Great Green Leap Forwards, which gives us another research slot. Wait, they've redone Ireland. I thought this was just standard Ireland. Apparently not. And then we can get the political questions of the day, uniting the nation, dealing with the church, promote the Irish language, which gives us political power gain and national unity. That's pretty good. Irish Scouts, which is recruitable population. And then improve integration for Irish Americans. So I guess that's the Irish coming back from America. Status of Ulster, so Northern Ireland, whether we want to repress the Unionists or side with the Unionists. I guess that would be an independent Northern Ireland. Dealing with the enemies. Detente with the Union, give us a future. We've had enough of your past. Gains Annex War Goal against the Union of Britain. Interesting. Or you can choose our friends, which is going with Germany, our own faction, I assume, and then going with the Entente. Or even the Internationale over there. Oh wow, there is a lot of stuff here. There is an awful lot of stuff here. Gain 2 free synthetic refineries. Interesting. If we go it alone. Requires all of the following. The Great Green Leap Forwards, which is the one over on the other industrial side. And then one of the following. Enough of your past or ourselves alone. So one of those two. Okay. And then that's naval stuff. Fortify the Shannon, which is loads of fortifications. That's if we're expecting to be attacked. People's Army. Here we go. Armies. Honourable Army or the People's Army. Planning speed, division recovery. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Crazy. And here, more industry. Just in case we needed even more industry. I like this aspect of this nation already, I have to say. Military factory construction speed 15%. Consumer goods -5%. Or production efficiency cap 10%. Factory output 10%. I probably want more in actual production. Define a production area to focus on increased cost in exchange for higher output. Or bomb factory vulnerability, naval production, submarine production cost, destroyer production cost, capital ship production cost. Nice. Right, well I would say that the first thing that we need to do is the Irish Economic Advancement Act, so let's start with that. One displays Ireland, regular Hearts of Iron 4. Yeah, play it in this. Kaiserreich just adds so much stuff, it's amazing. Ask if you need help with pronunciation of Irish words. Okay, cool. Okay, free civilian factories. We're going to do our fairly standard opener, which is going to be infrastructure. And we're probably going to start with Munster, because Leinster's already got some factories, so Munster would actually have more capacity overall, and then probably Ulster. No, Connacht. Ulster, Connacht, Leinster. There we go. Actual production with our 2 military factories. We're going to get some infantry equipment and some artillery, I think. Do we have any troops? Oh, we do actually start with an army, including a German World War I tank division. Nice. Which starts fully trained. Important. Let's get those guys training. We do start with 2 naval dockyards as well. I think one of those should be devoted to convoys and the other one probably to destroyer 2s. Do we have a navy? We have 6 destroyers. That is a very potent fleet right there. And no aircraft. Okay. Research is going to be the standard opener. Construction, production, and research. And I think we are good to start this off. So we're going to put this into fast mode and off we go. Thank you, Kaiserreich team. Great job. I want to know everything. So some of this is basically just going to be watching what happens in the world while we build Ireland into an industrial powerhouse. The thing we're going to be struggling with most is going to be manpower. We're on limited conscription already, which is 63,000 people. I wonder if we get any additional manpower from any of these things. Agricultural reform might give us some. We do have population growth from the mechanized farming reform. I reckon some of the military things will probably give us more. People's Army, Division Recovery, National Unity, Army Experience, Armour Advance. I mean, we could do a lot of armoured stuff, which is good. The Fighting Irish, Training Time Reduction, Max Planning. Recruitable Population, 1%. And 4%. Oh, that's a choice. So the Army Comrades Association, which is 1% recruitable population, or 2% from the Irish Citizen Army, but the female soldiers gives us recruitable population factor 25%, while if we recruit the blue blouses, then we get 4%. So we probably want the Army Comrades Association. We'll see when we get to that. But that's under People's Army, which requires the patriotic movement, which requires that system. Oh, and this can only be done if we're socialist. Alright, what design companies do we have? That is the other big question. Oh, they're all standard crap. No special heavy tanks or anything. I was hoping that we would have that. Aer Lingus. Nice. Do a lot of really good flights, cheap flights to the US. Civilian and military factory construction speed. A load of research time and radar. Okay, that's interesting. And then refinery construction. Cool. Infantry, additional stuff for them. Okay, School of Maneuver. Those are the socialists. Those are socialists. So actually the socialists are the most maneuverable. Mass combat does give more recruitable population. And also infantry attack. No, I think we were going to want a very highly mechanized military. So actually going syndicalist kind of sounds like the best way. Except I would quite like to make Britain Irish again, to be honest. How far into this are we? Yeah, 10 minutes. 15 minutes at the most. No, 10 minutes. The State of the Republic, 1936. After countless years of arduous rebellion and weathering oppressive British rule, the Irish people have won their freedom and their country back. But as one enemy was vanquished, another rose in her place, perhaps yet more dangerous still. Michael Collins sits in a reluctant dictator, eager to defend the independence of his nation at any cost, yet his political enemies are many as the 1937 election approaches. Ireland is a powder keg, and it's only a matter of time until it explodes. Right, so we do have the Irish election coming up, and we will need to make some choices at that point about the political direction that we want to go in. So there are quite a lot of options which are only available if we go socialist. Although joining the Internationale actually seems to have the least in terms of what we can do. Actually, is that true? It probably isn't true. These aren't mutually exclusive. Ah, here we go. Dealing with our enemies is only possible if we are not syndicalist. Choosing our friends likewise. So all of this gets locked off if we go syndicalist. Hey Dravy, how are you? Okay, so, we start off very authoritarian democrat. And what about our rulers? We have a paternal autocrat in charge right now. Now, we probably want to see if we can shift over towards authoritarian democrat, which is only you. Civilian construction speed and military factory construction speed. I want you. I don't care that you cost a lot of political power, and actually that's not the most I've ever seen. You're quite cheap. I want Richard Mulcahy in charge. He is really good. He suits my system to a T. Although I kind of suspect that we're going to run out of construction speed, construction area. Social liberals would also work. What about for foreign minister? Authoritarian democrat. Yeah, foreign minister tends to be less important except for the chance to trade thing. Economy minister tends to be quite important. You're already authoritarian democrat. I think we're going to try and stick with authoritarian democrat. Maybe we'll go for the... Oh no, you're radical socialist. Market liberal, paternal, here we go, authoritarian democrat. Infrastructure construction speed and production efficiency cap. I like that. Resource gain efficiency is another good one. And then security minister. Yeah, I think we're going to go authoritarian democrat. So maybe we'll join the Mitteleuropa. So I'm thinking probably mobile doctrine. So that we can get the bonuses to tanks, especially the mobile infantry. I think that's the direction we'll go. Mechanized with either heavy or medium tanks. I haven't quite decided yet. Although we have no bonus to those. We have bonus to artillery, but I can't really see us using artillery much. Aircraft? We could certainly use aircraft, though again we don't get that many bonuses. We get a lot of bonuses to ships, though. So the Irish Navy could be quite good. Again, we are limited by manpower here. Run out of construction area? Take the island to the east. It's time they were run by the Irish for a bit. I quite agree. I quite agree. We'll see what we can do about that. Problems up north. Edward Carson, the former leader of the Unionist Party, died last year, aged 81. He was an extremely divisive figure whilst alive and fled to England when Ireland gained her independence and took back Ulster. He was particularly reviled outside of Ulster for his prosecution of the beloved Irish poet and author Oscar Wilde. His memory was venerated today by the Loyalists in the north of Ireland, who held a memorial service in Belfast with several leading members of the UUP speaking in his name. The memorial attracted quite a crowd, showing that Carson still has power even in death. His spectre is looming over Ulster, just as the tensions and threat of rebellion loom over it as well. Edward VIII crowned as King of England. We're not going Entente. We're definitely not going Entente. So I think we will be going repressing the Unionists. Or this one. Weakens the Unionists in the event of a civil war. Oh, I see. So you can either kind of gamble for a civil war or try and integrate them. Because it doesn't look like any of these... Yeah, I think we're going to go try and negotiate with them. If there's a civil war, there's a civil war. We'll fight it. We'll just need to make sure that we don't park too many troops in Northern Ireland. And our navy. Although Belfast is probably our biggest... Nope, actually Dublin's the biggest dockyard. And let's shift you guys over here as well. Keep everyone out of Northern Ireland if we can. Although maybe we want some militia in Ireland. No, we'll keep some in Ulster, just in case. Black Monday! Right, so Germany is starting to be hit by problems. We earn a little bit of political power. We still have medium popularity, which we could do with increasing. There's the Anglo-Afghani War. Need to sort out my tea supplies. The Travailleurs elected in France. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what civil wars and things break out. Because in the multiplayer game, every single civil war possible in the game, as far as I'm aware, started. So we had the Russian one, we had the Spanish one, we had the Chinese one, American obviously, South African. Black Monday hits Ireland. On the 3rd of February, the German stock market collapsed, plunging the world into depression. Ireland had relied on trade with Germany and its sphere of influence since the British Revolution, where we declared ourselves a republic and cut ties with the British Empire. The crisis has had a severe effect on the Irish economy, as Germany and our other European trading partners have been hit by the crisis. Many scrambled to find solutions, most parties proposing either Irish economical development or maintaining stability while the German economy recovers. More radically, the Anglophile National Centre Party advocate abandoning trade with continental Europe and opening ties with the Entente, making speeches tinged with anti-German rhetoric. The syndicalists have also begun to advocate revolution, claiming that the crisis is proof of the failures of capitalism. Well, that's not very good. There are puns again, but it's not the usual suspect. Although I suspect that he will be around later. He was asking what time this would start. Alright, so the Irish Economic Advancement Act is almost done. There it is. So how do we get rid of Black Monday? Ireland has severe results due to Irish reliance on trade with Germany after the British Revolution, having cut ties with the Entente while Britain fell to syndicalism. I would assume that it would lie in one of these. Except I'm not seeing it. Nope, doesn't. Oh wait, yeah, that's more population. Higher on the world stage. I don't know. Might be like the Ottomans where it goes away over time. Except no, the Ottomans do have a focus line. It's the OPDA stuff, isn't it? No, it is over time, you're right. Yeah, okay. In that case, I think we're going to get industry for Ireland, and we'll start doing this. Also because our civilian factory construction speed, which we'll need. Our civilian industry has an enormous potential for growth. There's a major unemployment problem in our nation, with many families too poor to regularly feed themselves. By revitalizing our industry, we can create new jobs and improve the economic strength of our nation. Alright, let's do that. The Dáil considers the economy. With the passing of the Irish Economic Advancement Act, the IEAA, a commitment by the Irish government to a rapid and complete overhaul of the economy has been made. As stipulated in the Act, the government must now decide on an annual focus to improve the economy. Michael Collins, President of the Republic and leader of the Fine Gael, as well as Frank McDermott of the National Centre Party, believe that Ireland should focus on building up its industry as quickly as possible. A syndicalist coalition led by Jim Larkin argue that the growing power of the workers' unions is the best way to increase our nation's productivity. Lastly, Sinn Féin suggest a focus on mainstream industrial research and development. So Collins is increasing the authoritarian Democrats. We get the national spirit, which is civilian and military factory construction. We can go with the Democrats and Liberals, which I guess is Sinn Féin, which is industrial research time reduction. Or the Syndicalists, which have workers' rights, which is production efficiency. No, we want production speed. We're going to make the authoritarian Democrats even stronger. What's in the new update? Austria's changes have been completed now, so the Austrian focus tree is finished. So I will need to try playing as Austria at some point in the future, I think. Reform the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And the United Provinces, which I think is these guys. Yeah, United Provinces of America now have a focus tree as well. There's another nation that has them. Socialist Italy has them. So one of the reasons that I was not playing as the Italian Federation is because Socialist Italy didn't have a focus tree yet. And now that they do, I should probably play as Federal Italy at some point again, because that is a game I've been wanting to do for a while, but was reluctant to do it while their main opponent didn't have a focus tree. Also, you will notice that there are a lot more wastelands. So, for example, Northern Italy is much harder to invade because there are now very significant choke points as to how you can actually get into Italy. So, Italy fighting against France, Italy actually stands a chance of holding their own. And these are throughout the world. So, I think China has a couple, Himalayas would have a couple. And most importantly, Siberia has lots. Like, this whole northern part of Russia is no longer applicable. You just capture it as you take the parts south of it, which means that the front line fighting across Russia, especially across Siberia, is about this thick rather than this thick, and it makes fighting Russia a lot harder actually for Japan, because you're far more limited in how you can fight them, and the Russians can condense their forces far more effectively. So these changes to the wastelands and where the mountain crossings are has had quite a big impact. Oh, it's pronounced Dol. Okay. Yeah, I knew how Sinn Féin was pronounced, but Dol I didn't know. I still need to decide what on earth my goal is going to be for this. I really don't know. Certainly to take over the Union of Britain. Like, we need to make Britain Irish again. Definitely. Maybe try and go to the continent. It's difficult to decide. We're going to need puppets for manpower. So maybe we need to build an Irish empire. Rely on our good navy. World conquest with Ireland. Yeah, I don't think so somehow. Mostly because I foresee us not doing much until probably in the early 1940s. We might well meddle in various civil wars and things like that, though, with volunteers. That's certainly somewhere we can get involved. Do we have any good generals? We do, actually. Pius is dead. Commando, out of supply. Defensive doctrine. Fast planner. Logistics wizard. We have a lot of field marshals. Why do we have so many field marshals? We're frickin' Ireland. I'm not exactly expecting to have a humongous army. Bit weird. So I think we're going to get the industry for Ireland. Then maybe we'll do the industrial reform so we can get the mechanised farming reform in as early as possible for the supply consumption reduction and monthly population. 20th anniversary of the 1916 Easter Rising. On Monday, the 24th of April 1916, members of the Irish Volunteers, Irish Citizency Army and Cumann na Mban seized key locations in Dublin and declared a free Irish Republic. Surrounded by the vastly superior numbers and artillery of the British Army, they fought on for 6 days before eventually surrendering. Most of the leaders of the Rising were executed, although a loss at the time would subsequently lead to Ireland's War of Independence and freedom after 700 years under British rule. Today is the 20th anniversary, and celebrations and parades have taken place all across Ireland, including a thundering speech from President Collins, emphasising the need to protect the freedom that Patrick Pearse and his comrades died for. For slavery fled, a glorious dead, when you fell in the foggy dew. And we are positive political power again.